Hello and welcome to another episode of the Beer Chronicles, the series where I go through the drinks on this poster above my head, drinking each one individually in each video until eventually I have drunk them all. That is my quest, that is what I aim to do, and I will do it. I will. In today's episode I'm going to be drinking Marston's Pedigree, which is an amber ale, 4.5% alcohol. I'm trying to think whether or not I've actually had this before. I'm sure I've had a Marston's drink before, but I don't know if I've had Pedigree or not. So I'm going to go into this assuming that I haven't. There we go. Smells alright. It doesn't smell like much at first, it smells quite subtle, but then if you really stick your nose in there and just really huff it, you can smell some more sort of, there's a bit of hoppiness to it. And a bit of floralness. That's quite nice. So yeah, you can tell this is going to have a bit of flavour to it. Yeah, it's nice. It's got flavour, but it's mild, if that makes sense. It's not a strong flavour. But there's a complexity to the flavour. That's a really easy to drink ale and quite enjoyable for that. It's not harsh at all, it's easy, it's relaxing, it's pleasant. Yeah, Marston's Pedigree. I recommend that, really. Now, the last two episodes of this series that I've done have been really long, to be fair. They've both been like an hour or so. So I've decided that for today's episode I'm going to do something that should be relatively shorter than that, if all goes to plan. So I'm going to do a Doctor Who quiz, a quiz about the classic era of Doctor Who, which is my preferred era. And the reason that I've decided on a Doctor Who quiz is because this video is also a sort of announcement, as well as a Beer Chronicles video, for another series that I'm going to be making going forward. You may remember a while ago I uploaded a video which was a collaboration with another YouTuber who's a friend of mine. His name's Luke Gardner, also known as Luke Ginge, and yeah, he does videos about Doctor Who on YouTube. I'll explain more about his channel in that video, and also the video consists of me asking him questions about himself as a Doctor Who fan. That was the point of the video. I asked him 10 questions about himself as a Doctor Who fan, and he answered those. And then also on his channel, he has a video where he did the same to me. He asked me questions and I answered them. So if you're interested in hearing about what I am like as a Doctor Who fan, go to his channel and check out that video. I'll leave a link in the description. And if you want to watch my video and find out about this Luke guy, then I'll leave that down there as well. But the reason I bring it up is because we have decided that we're going to collaborate again. Now, Luke is a big Doctor Who fan. His channel is about Doctor Who. He talks exclusively about Doctor Who on his channel, but he is into the new series of Who from 2005 onwards. He doesn't really know much about the classic Who. He's grown up as a fan of New Who, but not all of Doctor Who, and I'm trying to sort of fix that. Basically, this series is going to be me introducing Luke to classic Who. I'm telling him serials to watch and he's watching them, and then we talk about his reactions to that, his initial thoughts on watching these serials for the first ever time, which I think is something quite special, really. I genuinely feel honoured to be the one chosen to introduce him to this content that I love so much, in the hopes that he too will gain the same kind of respect for it that I do. And so far the first episode has been filmed. We have done that, and it will be up on this channel very, very soon. It will be our first attempt to get him into the classic series, and I hope that you will be interested in watching that, because to me it really is something very special. So, you know, it's going to be there. If you want to watch it, watch it. Obviously I'm not going to try and force you or anything, but I think it's quite a special occasion, and I'd appreciate if you went over and checked it when it comes up. If you want to be notified on when that happens, then please subscribe to the channel and you will be notified. Also, the way that this collaboration is going to work is we are going to alternate between channels. So as he watches more and more serials, some of them will be uploaded to my channel, some of them will be uploaded to his. Basically, the first one will be uploaded to my channel, the second one will be uploaded to his channel, third to mine, fourth to his, etc, etc, etc. So all the odd ones on mine, all the even ones on his. So if you want to preemptively go and subscribe to his channel as well now, so that you will be notified when all episodes go up, that would be great. But if you just want to see the first one and see whether it's the sort of thing you'd be into, then check it out when it gets uploaded on mine. And then if you like the idea of going forward with it, then go over and subscribe to his channel so that you can be notified when all of them are up. So yeah, now that we've started that, now that we're getting it underway, the first one has been filmed, we are already making plans for the second one. I figured now would be a good time to announce that, and seeing as I was going to announce it in this video, I thought we might as well make the video Doctor Who themed, which is why I've decided to do a quiz on classic Doctor Who. It seemed very fitting. So I found a quiz online. This is from a website called dorkygeekynerdy.com, which is a website that does quizzes apparently. This is apparently quiz number 49, which is classic Doctor Who trivia. And the way it seems to work is... Okay, this is split into categories, so you... Oh, I get it. That's why it's called Dorky, Geeky, Nerdy. Okay, they've got a section called the Dorky Round, a section called the Geeky Round, and a section called the Nerdy Round, and each has 10 questions in it. So that's 30 questions total, and I'm assuming that as you enter the new round, it gets more difficult. So let's see how much of a classic Who fan I really am, and... I can't guarantee I'm going to get 100% on this, because as much of a fan of Doctor Who as I am, I haven't seen every serial, and also I might know stuff from the episodes, but when it comes to the outside of that, when it comes to behind the scenes, I might not be as knowledgeable about stuff then. So we'll find out. The Dorky Round, question 1. Who were the Doctor's first 2 human companions? Now this is an easy one. That was Ian Chesterton and Barbara Wright. And I am correct. Yay me. Number 2. Which villain was conceived exclusively as an adversary to the 3rd Doctor, only to reach multiple incarnations after the untimely death of the actor? That will be the Master, who was played originally by Roger Delgado, and he was introduced to the series to be a sort of Moriarty to the Doctor Who's Sherlock Holmes. Basically, he was the antithesis of the Doctor himself. They were both meant to be like 2 different sides of the same coin, if you know what I'm getting at. Yeah, unfortunately, Roger Delgado sadly passed away, and they couldn't continue with the character, but then they brought him back later in a different incarnation, which makes sense, because Time Lords can do that. I went to scroll on to the next question, and then thought I should probably check that I'm right, even though I know that I'm right. So let's have a look. Yep, the Master. Okay, question 3. Which iconic villains first appeared in the 2nd serial? Now, the 2nd serial is called the Daleks, so can you figure out who might have shown up in that? It's the Daleks, and that is correct. Question 4. Which cybernetic villains first told the Doctor, "Resistance is useless, you will be upgraded," in 1966? That will be the Cybermen, and I assume it would also be from the 10th Planet, which is the last serial that Hartnell did, and the one where he regenerated at the end into Troughton, which was the first appearance of the Cybermen. The answer is Cybermen. I like being able to go into detail on these early ones. It makes me appear really knowledgeable about the show, but I'm sure that'll change when we get to the later ones. Question 5. Which numbers are assigned to the Doctors played by unrelated actors with the same last name? Okay, what? Which numbers are assigned to the Doctors played by unrelated actors with the same last name? Well, the actors with the same last name would be Tom Baker and Colin Baker. Did they assign numbers to them? Would it be 1 and 2? Oh. Unless they're on about what numbered Doctor they are. in which case it would be 4 and 6, because Tom Baker was Doctor 4 and Colin Baker was Doctor 6. I'm going to assume that's what they mean and say 4 and 6. Yeah, I got it. Okay, 4 Tom Baker and 6 Colin Baker. Question 6. Which classic Doctor had the least amount of screen time? Do you count Paul McGann? I actually had this discussion with Luke on the early video that I mentioned. I can't remember if it was on my video or his, but we mentioned Paul McGann. And we were sort of talking about whether or not you count him as classic or modern. I consider Modern Who to be when the series was revived, so 2005 onwards. So Paul McGann would be classic, so I would assume Paul McGann has the least amount of screen time. If they don't consider McGann to be classic, then it would likely be Colin Baker because of how short his run was cut. But if they do include Paul McGann, then it should be Paul McGann because he was in one. It was a movie, yeah, but still one. So yeah, Paul McGann. Okay, the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, they do consider him classic. Good, because I also consider him classic. I agree with you, dorkygeekynerdy.com. Number 7, who was the first actor to play the Doctor? William Hartnell. Yep, there we go, William Hartnell. He was actually a great actor. As in, I like pretty much every Doctor in the role, but some of them are a bit more theatrical than others. William Hartnell was always one who, even from the very beginning, he was in a science fiction show where he travels in different times to different planets and sees all these different creatures and such, and yet you believed every word that came out of his mouth. He was a truly great actor. I really did appreciate him for that. Question number 8. Which classic companion got her own spin-off in the new era of Doctor Who? Well, surely that would be Sarah Jane Smith. And it was. It's called the Sarah Jane Smith Adventures, isn't it, I think? Number 9. Which story was never broadcast, but has received multiple different DVD releases? It's probably Sharda, because that wasn't broadcast, and I know it's been released at least twice, so yep, Sharda. I don't have the original release that was like reconstructed from stills, I think it was one of those, but I do have the animation that came out more recently, and I adore it. It's a shame that it never got broadcast originally, because it's a great story, and of course it was written by Douglas Adams, so it's going to be great. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Douglas Adams is the author who wrote the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, and also he was a scriptwriter for Doctor Who for a while, so yeah. He came up with some of the best stories that we've seen in Doctor Who, to be fair. Question 10. Which Doctor had the greatest average number of simultaneous companions? That's a good question. I think Peter Davison had 3, because he had Adric and Tegan and Nyssa. And obviously he lost Adric, but Turlough came along as well. Do anyone have higher than 3? Mind you, at the same time, William Hartnell also had 3 to begin with. Did anyone have more than 3? I mean, if 2 people had 3, then how would you say which one was the average number of simultaneous companions? So would people having less companions bring their average down? Because if so, Davison pretty much had 3 consistently, didn't he? I'm going to go with Davison. The 5th Doctor, who often brought 3 people along in the TARDIS. Yeah, the 5th Doctor is Peter Davison, so I was right. Nice. We now move on to the geeky round. Just let me double check, did I get all of those right? Barbara, Master, the Daleks, Cybermen 4 and 6, 8th Doctor, Paul McGann, William Hartnell, Sarah Jane Smith, Sharda, and the 5th Doctor. Yeah, I got all those right. Woohoo! I should hope so on the easy round. This might be where, things go awry. Okay, question 1 of the geeky round. What was the last name most often used by Susan, the First Doctor's companion? That would be Foreman. Susan Foreman. That is correct. Question 2. Which 2 actors guest starred in roles before being cast as the Doctor later on? Well, I know Colin Baker did. Obviously it wouldn't be Hartnell because he was the first, so he couldn't have, guest starred before then. Troughton never showed up in Hartnell. Pertwee never showed up before then. Neither did Tom Baker. I don't think Peter Davison did either. Neither did McCoy. Nor McGann. 2 actors guest starring roles before being cast as the Doctor. It was only Colin Baker. I mean, Capaldi did, but that's in New Who, not Classic, and this is a Classic Who quiz. Is it counting? Is it counting Capaldi? Because I can't think. No one else from Classic was in the show before they became the Doctor, other than Colin Baker. I'm fairly certain of that. I'm going to have to guess Colin Baker and Peter Capaldi. Colin Baker played Commander Maxwell in the Arc of Infinity opposite Peter Davison's Doctor. And Peter Capaldi played Caecilius, I can't remember if that's how you pronounce it, it's got the phonetics next to it, Caecilius in The Fires of Pompeii opposite David Tennant's Doctor. So it does count Capaldi, which is weird because this is a Classic Who quiz. But okay. I got it right anyway, so I'm happy. Question 3. What combination of Doctor and Companion were in the final televised serial of the Classic era? The final would be Survival, and that was obviously Sylvester McCoy and Ace. Doctor number 7, Sylvester McCoy and Dorothy Ace McShane, played by Sophie Aldred. So yeah, Doctor and Ace. McCoy and Ace. Obviously it was the Doctor. Number 4, which companion was an American character played by a British actress? That was Perry. Perry Brown. I'm trying to remember what Perry was short for as well. Perpigillium, Perry Brown, yep. Question 5. Which potato-headed villains first faced off against the 3rd Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith? They were the Sontarans, obviously. Well, it was one Sontaran in that serial. I actually watched that one recently. The Time Warrior, I think that one's called. Let's just check the answer. Yep, Sontarans. Shouldn't really be plural though, but hey ho. Question 6. Who was the title character in the first Doctor Who spin-off? That'd be K9, because of the K9 and Company thing. K9, although K9 and Company also featured Sarah Jane Smith, who hadn't appeared with K9 at all on the original series. Had she not? Never thought about that, but no. Huh. Number 7, what was the first story represented in colour? Now the answer to this is Spearhead from Space, which is actually the first serial that me and Luke have watched for the collaboration. So if you want to go and check that first episode when it comes out, you will see Luke's reaction to Spearhead from Space, which is a very convenient plug. Thank you for that quiz. And yep, just double checking the answer is Spearhead from Space, but I know that because I watched it the other day. Number 8, which actor played the Doctor for the greatest total screen time? That would be Tom Baker. Tom Baker at 71 hours and 37 minutes. William Hartnell is the second at 55 hours and 15 minutes. I didn't know William Hartnell was the second, so that's interesting. I have learnt something today. Number 9. Who was the second Doctor's longest running companion? Jamie McCrimmon. He showed up in the second serial, I think it was, Highlanders, and was there until the very end. Yep, Jamie McCrimmon. Number 10. Which colour episode exists primarily in black and white due to an error in record keeping? Well, I know that John Pertwee's The Mind of Evil was in black and white for the longest time. They have since colourised it, but I don't know if they'd count that. Was there any other? I think it's just Mind of Evil, wasn't it? John Pertwee's Mind of Evil? Invasion of the Dinosaurs Part 1. Okay. That is actually, Invasion of the Dinosaurs is a very well-known serial, but it's one that I haven't actually got round to watching yet, so I really need to watch that. I didn't know the first part was in black and white. That is interesting. So yeah, I got my first answer wrong. Isn't this exciting? I got 9 out of 10 right in that round. which is still decent. So far I've got 19 out of 20. Let's continue and see how I do overall. If I got one wrong in that round, then I'm probably going to get a couple more wrong in the next one. The nerdy round, also known as the final round. Not written as that on here, but we shall now know it as the final round, because that sounds a lot more, scary. Number 1. Which villain from the War Games returns in The Deadly Assassin? The War Games? The Deadly Assassin was about the Master. He wasn't in the War Games. The Master was definitely not in the War Games. There is a theory, actually, that the Warlord from the War Games is the Master, but that's an incorrect theory. It's definitely not. I don't know if this quiz got it wrong, or if there's just something I don't know about. I'm going to assume that they're talking about the Master. What? Gothopodoskirial Drapolak, or Goth for short. I don't even know who that is. And I've seen both the War Games and the Deadly Assassin multiple times. And I don't know who Goth is. They have really stepped up their game for this round. Question 2. Which recurring Time Lord villain is the same age as the Doctor? Now, you would probably assume, seeing as they talk about, being in the academy together and everything, and he's a recurring Time Lord villain, that it would be the Master, but I'm pretty sure the answer to this is the Rani. And I'm correct, it is the Rani. Number 3. What 3-word term was to be banned from appearing on the series according to BBC executives at the time of launch? 3-word term. No idea. Banned from appearing on the series. I genuinely don't know. What is that? Oh, bug-eyed monsters. Yeah, I remember hearing about that, actually. That was not committed to memory. So far that's 2 that I've not got right. Number 4. Which classic Doctor Who story takes place farther in the future than any other? These are they've stepped up the difficulty on these questions now. Farther in the future than any other. I don't know. I mean, Dragonfire was pretty far in the future. Yeah, Dragonfire, I don't fucking know. Oh, bloody hell, it was Dragonfire. I got that one right, but that was purely a fluke. I did not know that, but I'll take it. Number 5. Which big Finnish audio drama told the origin story of the Cybermen? That was Spare Parts. That's a decent one, that is. I've listened to that one, and I can recommend it. Spare Parts? Absolutely correct. Question number 6. Who was the original showrunner for Doctor Who? That would be Verity Lambert. And I'm correct again. Number 7. Which story was the last to be filmed during the original run of the series? I mean, the last serial of the series was Survival, but was that the last one filmed? Or did the film on the early ones before then? It could be anything from the last season, really. I'm just going to say Survival because it was the last one. Oh no, Ghostlight. It was only after the news of cancellation came down that Survival was moved to the end of the schedule and a voiceover added to serve as a finale. I didn't know that, so yeah, I'm learning some things from this quiz. I didn't expect to get them all right, but I also didn't expect to learn so much from this, so this is actually quite a good experience for me. Number 8. Which Doctor complained about being accused of causing the Great Chicago Fire before a later incarnation was shown to have accidentally caused it? Well, Peter Davison was the one who caused it, so it's going to be a Doctor who was earlier than Davison. So Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee or Baker. It does sound like the sort of offhand comment that Tom Baker would say, so I'll just say Tom Baker. The 4th Doctor, so yeah, that would be Tom Baker. And number 9. Which prop was the breaking point in Peter Davison's decision to leave the show? That was that fucking that big weird reptilian creature thing that was just this giant suit, and it was shit. It's called like the Merker or something like that. The Merker. I don't know if that's pronounced Merker or Merker. I think it's Merker. But yeah, that thing was terrible. And yeah, that was the reason Peter Davison left the show. He saw that and was like, yeah, I'm out. And I don't blame him for that, to be fair. It was a clear example of how little they cared at the time about making quality. And number 10 of the third and final round, therefore making this the 30th and final question. Which series or season of the show is the least complete? So that'll be one full of missing episodes, so it'll be either Hartnell or Troughton. So it'll either be Hartnell's last or Troughton's first, surely. So season 3 or season 4. Are they counting the animations that they've brought out of Troughton's? Does that count as it being more complete or not? Because if it wasn't for those animations, we'd only have a small handful of season 4. Mind you, we only have a small handful of season 3. How many have we got for season 3? It's like 2 or 3 episodes, actually. Well, 2 or 3 serials. I'm going to say season 3. Series 3, which started with Galaxy 4 and ended with the War Machines. So yeah, how many of those ones did I actually get right? I got Goth wrong. I got the Rani right, so that's 1. Couple of Guide Monsters wrong. Somehow got Dragonfire right, so that's 2. Spare Parts, that's 3. Rarity Lambert, that's 4. Ghostlight I got wrong. The 4th Doctor I got right, so that's 5. Merkel got right, so that's 6. And Series 3, so that's 7. 7 from the third round, 9 from the second round, and all 10 from the first round. Which, if my maths is correct, is 26 out of 30. I'd say that's pretty damn good going. So yeah, that was a good quiz. I knew it would get harder as it went along, but based on the first round, I thought I was actually, thought I might have accidentally picked one that was a little bit too easy. But no, when we got to the end, there were some hard ones on there, so yeah. And I did learn a couple of things from it, so that's quite good, quite interesting. I'm quite glad I did that now. That is the perfect time to finish off the beer and to finish off the video. So I was about to say all the closing stuff and then realised I should probably cross the picture off the poster first. Okay, before I go completely, I do just want to briefly apologise because during the course of this video, I started recording now because the house was quiet and it seemed like a good time to do this. And like partway into the video, people started turning up at the house and conversations were happening, and the camera normally picks up that kind of stuff. And now the plumbing's making noises and it's just non-stop going off. So the audio for this may have suffered as a result of that. Out of my control, and I do apologise, but hopefully it didn't ruin the video for you and you still enjoyed what you saw. Yeah, now that that's out of the way, let's give this video a proper closing. Once again, look out for that new series that's coming out where I collab with Luke Gardner, or Luke Ginge, whatever you want to call him. I'm not sure what he calls himself at this point, but yeah, that series will be called Classically Educated, an induction into space and time. First episode should be up on this channel soon. The second episode should be up on Luke's fairly soon. So yeah, look out for those and hopefully you'll enjoy them and keep watching them. I'm really looking forward to doing more. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and have been enjoying this series and will come back for more. And if you want to be notified when more of these come out, subscribe to the channel. If you did like this, then please press like down below to let me know that you liked it. And if you didn't like it, feel free to press dislike as well. I will not be offended. Leave a comment down below. If you're a fan of Doctor Who, let me know whether or not you prefer the classic or the new Who. And also, if you were sort of answering questions to this quiz along with me, what was your final score? And be honest, don't put 30 down there if you didn't get 30. I mean, I made this video, I have the power of editing behind me. I could make it 30 if I want to, but I'm not going to lie to you. I got 26 and I'm happy with that. You should be happy with whatever you got. That is everything, and that plumbing is still going off. It's just a flushed toilet. Why are you making so much noise? Anyway, thank you very much for watching to the end. If you did, hopefully I will see you in the next one. Catch you then.